Hey, it's Sunday evening, everybody. It's not Wednesday, and I'm going to be so confused the rest of the week because I'm used to doing this on Wednesday, but I think Sunday's going to work great. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing Live. My co-host is here with us. I'm so excited. Brett Timmerman is here, and we have a very special guest. But as I always say, all of our guests are special. But we've been wanting to have Jade on with us for a while, but she's such a busy girl, Brett.
Yeah,
She
I
doesn't
talked to
have
Davenport.
time during the week. So Sunday worked out good for her too. So Jade Avedisian, right, Jade?
Yep.
Okay, I
Yeah.
said it right. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, we are
Yeah.
so excited to have you on because we've been following you and we know what you've been up to. But so why don't you start by just telling our audience a little bit about yourself, where you live, your family, how old you are, whatever you want to share, and then I'm gonna kind of let Brett take over, and I'm gonna butt in whenever I feel like it. Okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right,
So,
go for it.
Jade Avedisian, 16 years old. Was in California for basically, or my whole life was born and raised there, and moved to Mooresville, North Carolina, about 2 months ago. So living out here now. Drive the 71 for Keith and Mobile One, for the Extreme Series.
So, Jade, I talked to you in Davenport last year. I don't remember what time of year it was. It's probably close to this time.
Mhm.
We tried getting you on, and it just never worked out. So we're glad to have you on the show finally. And I know a lot of people follow you. Um, why don't you let everybody know exactly what the Extreme Midget Series is? Like, there's a lot of people that follow us that are in the drag boats and monster trucks and you name it, but a lot of them don't know what the Extreme Midget Series is. So if you can explain kind of to them what the car is and the motor size and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's Dirt Midgets with Keith Coons Motorsports. So last year, the Extreme Outlaws Series, I'm pretty sure it's owned by the World of Outlaws. It was 12 races, just to kind of get their feet wet for probably hosting races, and now it's 33 races this year. So pretty busy schedule for them, and as long as all the other drivers, because multiple drivers are obviously running multiple series, and except for me, I'm just focusing on the Extreme Series, but yeah, they've overgrown a lot this year, and I'm excited to be kind of a part of it and race all the races.
So you're going to be traveling the country with the Extreme Series?
Yeah, so mainly it's kind of in the Midwest because when the West Coast swing goes to California, that's with USAC. So it's mainly Illinois. We go to Pennsylvania this year for a week, but mainly just around here.
That's awesome. What's it like being on the road for racing? Is it you like living on the road when you do travel?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't really say I would live on the road because I usually leave Friday morning of the race Friday, Saturday, and then home Sunday. So I still have my whole week basically to whatever I kind of want to do and just prepare for the next race. So it's just a little different for me instead of living on the road with like a lot of drivers. They have their motorhomes or whatnot to actually live on the road full time. So it's a little bit different for me, but I enjoy it, and it's always a lot of fun when you do good, obviously, and I just love racing, so it's always fun.
So so you don't live on the road, so you're home during the week. Are you doing homeschool or online schooling? Is that how you survive
Yeah,
during the week?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm on online school right now. I've been online for probably like 2 or 3 years. It just got too hard because when you have to go to the speed weeks or whatnot, being gone for 10 days or however long it is, it can get tough. And I feel like it's just a lot easier for me as well. So I can spend my weeks, focusing on what I need to be doing that weekend and what I need to be watching instead of like I'm very fortunate, obviously, to be homeschooled instead of being in a classroom all day and not trying to focus on my goals.
What's it like driving for Keith Kuntz Motorsports? I know they're the top dogs in the series. So
Yeah, definitely. It's different. It's good so far, really good. So I'm really happy we're in that right now with Keith, Pete, Garrett. working on my car. I think it's going to be a really good year. We've gone 2 weekends, DuQuoin 4-1, and then Port City this weekend. I kind of just put ourselves in a hole in the heat race and tried to overcome, and then we got in bad situations 2 times in the feature. So we obviously have the speed, going back up to 9 twice. So it's really good. I love working with Jared and everyone else at Keith Games Motorsports.
Yeah, I seen your post and I commented on it, but never let your head get hung low on we have our bad nights, but when you can come from the back to a top 10 twice,
Right.
finish in the top 10, that is a win in a lot of people's eyes. Like I know everybody's there to get the victory, but you got to look at victory in a lot of different ways. As you race a lot. So speaking of victory, let's talk about that DuQuoin win you got on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's cool. There were so many unsures going into that weekend. Obviously, I was really comfortable with the car I was getting in. But like I said, there's just so many unsures going into a new team after being with the team for so long last year and 60 races with the same car last year. So just a lot of unsures. But Jared got me so comfortable so fast, which I was so grateful for. And like even the first night we had a chance to win, and I kind of messed up. I didn't capitalize when it needed to be. So we have a tons of speed, which is always good.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be your year. I have a good feeling, and I've been following you since I've heard about you, and I look forward to watching your success this year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year too. We have all the right people around me and Mobile One, so hopefully we can just keep doing my job and put them in victory lane as many times as we can.
Yeah, I enjoy your little Mobile One skits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, how old were you when you started racing, and what did you start in? What kind of car?
So I was 7 years old. So racing's kind of always been around my family. At 6 months, I was at a sprint car track watching sprint cars, obviously. So my dad never raced, but he was always around it, worked on sprint cars. So when I was 3 or 4, he bought a quarter midget, and we went to empty parking lots on a Sunday or whatever, and just turned laps in empty parking lots around cones. And then finally, I obviously was more mature and was 7 and started to race, and I started in quarter midgets. Did that for about 4 years, and then I did junior sprints, and then restricted, and then the big class, outlaw wing, outlaw non-wing, and then obviously now midgets.
Okay, and what's your long-term goal? Do you have one where you'd like to be? And how old are you, Jade?
I'm 16, and my ultimate goal is to make it to Cup.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I was watching the Cup race, and it's in overtime. I turned my TV off so I wasn't distracted, but they're at Coda and it's in overtime, and so you're the priority and not the Cup race. I turned the TV off, just so you know.
Yeah, I was watching it, and then I saw them go in overtime, but I don't know. Reddick looks pretty good, but we'll see.
He does.
Who's your favorite driver in the Cup race?
Ooh, I like Larson, but I believe he wrecked out or something happened with him early.
Yeah, he got wrecked.
Yeah.
There was quite a few wrecks. Yeah,
he's a good guy to follow for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah. I just want besides Kyle Larson, is there anybody else that really gives you the drive? Like you watch them race and you want to, I guess, I know my daughter's favorite driver is you and Taylor Reimer. So who else do you look up to besides Kyle Larson?
Man, it's tough. It's kind of tough to get around Larson because I think the off-track stuff is really important as well, and I think he does a great job in his interviews and whatever he has to do off-track. So I kind of look at both sides on and off the track, and obviously he's really good on track too. So and another thing I like is just how many cars he can get in and do so well. But for really, I don't really know who else I really look up to minus Larson.
Yeah, he's pretty much the top dog in the racing world right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your favorite thing about driving a race car?
Oh gosh, I can't pick out one thing.
Okay, tell me what do you like the most? It can be more than one thing.
It's just fun. The adrenaline, racing tight. Going to all these different tracks. The people obviously you meet along the way, and then obviously driving the race car is a lot of fun. So it's just so much fun in one weekend.
And have you met a lot of other girls that you've made friends with, or are you more competitive with the girls?
Yes and no. I think we all are fine off the track, but we obviously all want to win when we get on the track, and I think that goes for everyone. Yeah, we're all friends, but we also all want to win.
Yeah. Well, I'd be surprised if you didn't want to win because that's the goal, right?
Yeah,
To do
definitely.
that. But the fact that you have other girls that you race against and that you can be friends, at least you have some camaraderie there with other girls, other women, and not just be the only girl and a whole bunch of guys. Because I know a lot of girls that race, they're the only girl at the track, and so I think it's nice that you have other girls that you race against for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think last year was really cool for how many girls were in the midget scene. This year, there's not as many, I don't think, but there's still a lot of us, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what do you do for fun when you're not racing?
I like to go on the lake, wake surf, wakeboard, all that during the summertime, and then I like to snowboard like during the off season.
Okay.
So other than that, not much though.
Everything racing pretty much takes up everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So your friends, like your high school friends, I know you're homeschooled now, and I'm sure COVID kind of brought that on, but um, I'm sure you still have friends, back where you lived at home and that. Do they
Mhm.
stay in touch? Do they follow what you're doing?
Yeah, 100%. We talk, even though I've obviously moved, we still talk every day. The group chat goes off every day. So yeah, it's a lot of fun when I go home, obviously, because I haven't seen them for a while. So looking forward to obviously going home to see everyone and all my family. So it's fun.
Okay. Brett, do you have any other questions?
So, Jade, when you travel, like on the weekends, who comes with you that's your sport team?
So right now, it's just me and my mom because my younger sister's in California in school. So my dad is watching her at home. So it's just me and my mom, like I said, in Mooresville. So for now, it's just me and my mom, and then I think next week it will be my dad too because we're gonna go to Florida the next week for my younger sister's spring break. So it just kind of depends, honestly.
So, not to get too personal, but your mom and dad are like you guys are still family, but you live separated from each other right now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's luckily it's just temporary, but yeah, we're so close obviously with our family and stuff that it has been weird and but I just think as it's temporary. So excited for finally the summer to hit soon, so my sister can get out of school and we can all get back together. But excited to see them next week as well.
Yeah, I bet. It's my daughter's name is Adriana, if you didn't know, and she wants to move to North Carolina really bad. And it's hard for me to do that to get away from my parents. I've been a family guy my whole life, and it's hard. Like, I want to move there because I know that's where she needs to be for the racing community because it is awesome out there. But it's hard. I can't imagine how hard it was for you guys to do what you're doing. But it seems to be working, and you're going somewhere, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely tough. Even like I said, I was gonna move by whatever date it was, and when it actually came, like the night before, I was like, "Oh shoot, it's like actually happening." So it all hit kind of at once, but I actually really like it out here, and obviously this is kind of where I need to be. So I enjoyed it, and like I said earlier, it's just temporary for now. So that's good.
So how old is your little sister?
14.
Okay, so she's not that much younger. So, and does she race too or just you?
Just me. She does cheer.
Okay.
So cheer's kind of her sport.
Okay. All right. Well, I was a cheerleading coach for 10 years, so I can appreciate that she's a cheerleader.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah.
likes it. She has fun with it, so that's good.
So
So
do you
why
have
don't you
any? Oh,
go ahead?
go ahead.
No,
No.
go ahead, Brett.
So do you have any thing in that, like, as far as NASCAR world? You know, you say you want to be in Cup. Have you tested in anything? Are you able to, or got anything in the works as far as that?
Not anything in the works yet. I did do a few tests last year, the end of November or December, can't remember now. We did a test with Toyota in late models, and that was a lot of fun. So, like I'm gonna say, actually, the midget stuff's the main importance right now. So, I think as long as I just keep doing good in that, the rest should probably come.
Yeah, you got a good team with Toyota Racing Development on your
Mhm.
side.
Yeah, definitely. Very grateful.
So you said you're going to race 33 races?
Yeah, we're gonna do that for Extreme, and then as long as the West Coast Swing and Indiana Midget Week,
Oh,
and there may
yeah.
be more, but I'm not sure yet. That's what's finalized.
So Indiana Midget Week, is that the series that like races somewhere different every night for the whole week?
Yeah, yep. So it's
Okay.
8 races, 8 racetracks, 8 races in 10 days.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to check the schedule because I could probably get to Indiana easier than I can get to a lot of places. Then I could come and watch a race because that's always my goal. I want to go watch you race, the girls that I meet. I want to meet them in person and watch them race. That's how I got to be really good friends with Brett. He reached out, his daughter raced, and I was headed to the Knoxville Nationals for my very first Knoxville
Mhm.
Nationals. And I went to English Creek and I met them, and they're just like family to me now. So I'm going to have to check that out and try to come and watch you race in person.
Yeah, Indiana Midget Week is a lot of fun. I just think it's so good for the fans because it's so many races, obviously, in a day.
Mhm.
But it's a hot week.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is, and Indiana has all that humidity, just like Michigan does. So it's a
Yeah,
hot week. Yeah, for sure. At
yeah.
Will you
least
be in? Will
hopefully
you be in?
it doesn't
Go,
rain. So
go ahead, Melinda. Melinda, we need to get lights like you turn the
I
light on.
know.
And
Raise your hand or something.
will you be in Davenport this year?
I does Extreme go there? Do you know?
I can't remember if it was Extreme or Power.
Okay,
What
so
you raced there last year? I can't remember what it was though.
yeah, so that was Extreme. So I'm assuming they go there again. So yeah, I will be there.
I'll come out as long as I'm not on the road. I'll come out. So
Okay,
I'll,
sounds good.
that was where I
Yeah.
talked to you last year and got your number to so we could communicate to get you on the show. So like I said,
Yeah,
it's been about
I
a
do
year.
remember that. Yeah, yeah, we had a tough week in that weekend. Not good.
Yeah. So let's what's the worst wreck you've been in your racing career?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like, knock on wood, I've never got hurt. But I had a pretty bad power eye week. I wrecked like almost every night, minus the last 2 nights. And they were not easy wrecks. They were pretty good wrecks. Luckily, I was able to walk away from every one of them and race the next night. And then I had a pretty good one at Placerville this year for the West Coast Swing. But like I said, luckily I've just been able to walk away and nothing has happened.
So I know it's a lot of racers don't like talking about this, but after Ashton's deal at the Chili Bowl,
Mm.
how how much more do drivers in them types of cars look at their safety equipment? And after that, like, do you think twice when you're buckling in now after that, or still the same old thing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Saturday when I raced, it was obviously fresh on everyone's mind, I would assume, just because it happened a few nights before. But I think that's just kind of the risk we take. Honestly, you just obviously have to make sure all your safety equipment's fine and good and safe. and luckily I have a really good seat, but with sharper bed and stuff. The best helmet, a rise, my K1 race gear. So I obviously have the best equipment you can basically have. That kind of stuff just happens. I don't know exactly what happened with the seatbelt, but obviously it wasn't good. So I'm super, super grateful that Ashton was able to walk away from that. That was very scary and not good.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Tatum Kriegel Racing wants to know what your favorite track to race is.
Jefferson County Speedway. We went there last year with USAC, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Where's that? Where is Jefferson County Raceway for those of us that don't know?
Nebraska.
Thank you.
So go ahead, Jade.
I was just gonna say it was a lot of fun. It didn't have a wall, which I thought was actually really cool, just because usually qualifying is not that fun, but qualifying was a lot of fun there. It was on the tip of the edge, and you had to be super careful how close you could run it in without flying over. And I just thought it raced really good by the feature time too.
So Brian Henderson, he said I think I'm pretty sure I know what he's referred to, but I think he meant the fist bump incident was pretty awesome. I believe you gained a lot of fans that night.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I definitely wanted to finish other than do that, but you just can't really lose your head when that kind of stuff happens. You just have to overcome it and go on to the next night.
So Melinda, I don't know if you know what he's talking about.
No, I was going to ask her to tell me, so go ahead.
Why don't you explain, Jade, kind of what happened?
Yeah, so going down the back straightaway, Carrick basically took my nose off, slid him going in 3, got on the outside of him, obviously, because I slid him, and then going neck and neck down the straightaway, and he fully just turned right and down the middle of the straightaway. So, and then I flipped, and then after I got out, I wasn't really sure what I was thinking, but I walked over there and gave him a fist bump.
Was your fist bump? Was you mad? Like, was you gonna walk over there and say something, and then you realized that you're professional and you kept it cool and just fist bumped him? And
yeah, I definitely was mad. But like I said earlier, you just can't really lose your head on those situations. So I feel like what I did was fine, obviously, instead of maybe doing what I wanted to do. But just overcoming that, and it ended up fine.
Yeah, and I know the Carricks through Lori, so the Carricks stay in Lori's house, Melinda, during the 360 Nationals. So,
okay.
I mean, they're pretty good people, but you know what happens when you put a helmet on? Like, you get frustrated. I'm sure, Jade, you've been there. I raced for 20 years. I've been there. But what you did to keep your cool like that was pretty awesome. And like Brian said, I'm pretty sure you gained a lot of fans' respect for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I was going to ask you, what is something that you feel like you need to improve on in your driving?
I feel like just firing off better at the start of the races. It takes me like 3 or 4 laps to get in a rhythm, and then I'm fine. But by the 3 or 4 laps, if you're racing against the best or whatever, if you're on the front row, you don't have 3 to 4 laps to spare. So just getting up, racing hard, and driving in hard the first few laps, I think I could work on I cannot speak right now.
That's okay.
And then obviously maybe just a little racecraft here and there. But obviously there's a lot to work on, but that's like the 2 main things I need to really work on.
Okay. Do you have a most memorable moment so far in your career?
Ooh, I kind of have 3 of them. I think
okay.
3 midget wins. 4 of them, 3 midget wins and then 20 grand in the micro were definitely really cool. The micro was really cool because it was 20 grand, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, that's a big deal in my eyes. So, and then obviously the midget stuff. I've always dreamed of racing a midget, and let alone winning was obviously really cool. So to click one off at Jacksonville, I was pretty pumped. And then to finished the year off with Chad and the whole in 2022 at I-44 was really good. And then obviously coming off so hot off to Coin with a new team was obviously really exciting as well.
Yeah, you've had a lot of success actually in your career. I know you started at 7 and you're 16, so 9 years sounds like a long time, but when you think that you're how young you are, you've got a lot of years ahead of you yet. Um, so you've got a lot of success that I know we're all going to enjoy. And even if we're watching from Kalamazoo or Wapello, Iowa, we're still going to be cheering for you for sure, Jade.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I appreciate it.
if you had a mom come up to you at the racetrack and want your advice or what your thoughts are about a girl getting involved in motorsports, would you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I think like racing wise, like what they should put their kid in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I did was really good. I think the quarter midgets just to get the smoothness out of the way, and obviously that was a learning step, just because how young the kids are. But to get the smoothness, and then just kind of depends on what you want to do. I at the beginning of when I was racing, we were racing for fun, obviously, and not really for a career. So that's why I kind of did dirt, and obviously I love the dirt, but maybe I would have redone it now that I want to, be an asphalt driver, hopefully. Um, so maybe I would, instead of junior sprints or something, I would do like a junior late model. But it's just kind of what they want to do at the end of the day. But like I said, I think what I kind of did was pretty good. And then obviously all the dirt years and the micros and stuff definitely helped with the midget stuff. So I feel like it was a pretty solid deal.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So,
Brett.
I know you're part of the Toyota Racing Development. Um, let's. So I know there's a lot of people that want to know how they can apply for it or get involved. Like how did Toyota Racing Development come about in Jade in your life?
Just a phone call, honestly. After I won the 20 grand in the micro, I believe, somewhere around there, it was a phone call to Chad, and then obviously Chad got us kind of hooked up the next year with a few races, and then really the start of last year was just I think just like the instant success at Merced, maybe, I would assume, but just overall doing well. I think kind of improved. I don't really know, honestly, and that kind of seems probably dumb. But I don't know. You just have to ask my dad. But obviously, I'm really happy where I am, Toyota Racing, and Mobile One to give me this great opportunity with Keith and Pete with Keith Gaines Motorsports. So hopefully, it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, it's you're in a market where TRD, I know they only pick like a couple drivers a year, and to be picked is a pretty awesome feat. So we're proud of you for that, and it's awesome that you got picked up. And so my question is, as a dad, like I need to figure out, which you and Adrienne are almost the same age, so we actually are. So, but I need to figure out like what I need to do to get her. Like I can rent. I have people that want me to rent their midget rides for Adriana, but like Jay Mounts with Mount Stout, and it's hard for me to do. But is that something that you think that I should do to help get her more noticed?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure exactly the advice. I seem kind of stupid right now, but I definitely don't think that would hurt. The Mount Stouts have really good cars. Jason almost won last weekend at Port, so I think that definitely wouldn't hurt. Just to get her name out there with a pretty solid team. A lot of people know that team, so just to have her there, and if she does good, that's just a win-win. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards taking her to Port City to practice with Jay, and then maybe letting her run the Davenport race. But finding the funding is tough around a small area like us, like where I'm from. Small, you don't get big sponsorships and marketing partners, so it's hard.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Yeah, it's tough, but I think that would be a pretty good step.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard as a dad because we race a lot of races throughout this year. And like we traveled to Oklahoma and we were just in Millbridge. She got to race a kart there. We flew out and it's tough to spend the money that to rent a car when it takes away from your racing program weekly. But it's just, I need to get over that hurdle and just do it. And, then she might do good. She might not do good. You never know. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you giving me a little bit of advice.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry I don't have more advice. It's
No,
tough. But yeah, I
what
think
you
that
said
was
is good.
yeah, I think that would be a good step. Like I said, that's a pretty good solid team, so I think that's good.
So
Brian,
go ahead.
Brian asked, Carson Elledge asked you for a small T-shirt on Twitter. How does it feel to be acknowledged by an Earnhardt? Is what he said.
Oh, Carson's a good kid. Well, she's not really a kid anymore, but yeah, I watched her kind of when I was growing up, just a few years ago, running midgets with Jade, and she obviously had pretty good night. It's obviously really cool when people recognize that, and I think it was 2 years ago, we did a T-shirt swap at Chili Bowl when she had that race line company or whatever that was. So I think it's really cool when people recognize that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that you're up there with Carson. So, I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, you get a lot of press. I mean, obviously social media is huge, especially for the age you are, and that's where I first, learned about you, and that's how I follow you. And I just noticed that there's a lot of good postings and things. So do you do that, or who does your social media for you?
Yeah, I do all my social media for the most part. Maybe minus a few posts. The Chili Bowl stuff kind of wasn't me, just because I was on Tuesday night. It was so packed, and I wanted to really focus. I mean, it's no different. I want to focus on every weekend, but I usually try to post the next day. And I feel like Chili Bowl, I needed to post that moment, and obviously I couldn't post that moment. So for the most part, it's me, and I try to do a good job on social media. That's a lot of racing, part of your racing career right there. I think it's 50-50. You always have to do good on on the track, but you also have to do good on social media. And I think the social media is tough, but I'm starting to kind of get at the hang of it, hopefully.
you have a YouTube people can follow?
No, I was actually thinking about doing a YouTube, like maybe my in-car stuff. But for now, no, but maybe.
Yeah. And so what platforms are you on if somebody wants to start following you, and how would they find you?
Jade Avedisian on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay. So it's just your name, so that makes it
Yep.
easy for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I
Okay.
have a website, Jade Avedisian too, like on Safari or whatever for my t-shirts and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
definitely
right.
need to. Everybody listening needs to get out there and get one of your T-shirts for sure.
Yeah, go buy
Yeah.
merch.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna have new stuff coming soon with the midgets, so looking forward to
Okay.
that too.
So when do your race? I know you've been racing. So is that the series that's already started, or is the midget series, has it not, those 30 some races? Is that what you've been running, or they haven't started yet?
Yeah, so they started 2 weeks ago in DeCoin, and then this last weekend at Port was Power I. But that's the only Power I races I'm doing as I know for now. So yeah, so next weekend or this coming weekend actually, Farmer City will be extreme again.
Okay. All right.
Where's Farmer City at?
Uh, I I
Is
think
it
we
Missouri?
fly into Chicago and drive like an
Yeah.
hour, somewhere around there.
I think it's about an hour south of Chicago, or maybe a
Yeah,
little more.
the town
Farmer City, Illinois.
farm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that far for me to come there. But I got to look at the weather. I'm a fair weather racer.
Yeah, it doesn't look good right now. I think the rain is supposed to hit like Friday and Saturday, so
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't happen. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
I hope not, for your sake too. But yeah, so you actually probably race quite a few races not that far from me, because you race quite a few, it sounds like, in the Midwest. So Kyle Keach said that he bought a t-shirt after the incident with Carrick.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
It's
I
kind
bet
of
your
like,
I bet your merchandise sales were way up that week.
Yeah, I think we sold out after that week, honestly.
It's kind of like Josh Williams, I don't know if you were following that, where he got out of his car, he parked it on the track, and he got out and walked. And he's selling T-shirts, and they're just selling like crazy. But you were talking about things off track. So, are there some things that you do right now off track? Like, Josh goes to the hospitals and visits kids, and I know you're busy and you've got school and everything. But is there anything that you particularly either do now or that you want to focus on as far as off track things?
Yes, I would obviously love to do anything I can. But I've been trying to get in the studio with Toyota at least once a week, and I've been doing a lot of videos there. So I think that's obviously been helping. But yeah, if I ever got the opportunity to do stuff like that, I would definitely say yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Brett, you have any other questions?
I think I'm questioned out.
You're questioned out? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see what else I can come up with for you here, Jade. So when you race in this series, I know you did the fist bump, which I love that. I think that's so cool because, I've watched Haley Deegan get wrecked over and over and different times. And sometimes I wish she'd react a little bit more aggressively to get, to not let people think they're going to run over her. But, the fist bump was really a really good response. When you have a bad day at the track, do you have somebody that you go to, or what do you do to keep yourself in check so that you don't, become one of those drivers that people talk about on social media?
I mean, I just try to obviously learn of what I could have done better that last weekend and move on. I think if you just live in the past, it's not going to be good, and you just have to move on and think about your next race or whatever. But yeah, I think the off track, obviously, like I said earlier, and like you said, is really important. So just kind of learning, and if you make a mistake here or there, you obviously try not to, but stuff happens sometimes. You just learn and obviously don't do it again.
Right. So, you're a good role model from what I've seen for younger drivers. Have you got anybody that's younger that you know of that really looks up to you, or that you mentor, or maybe even a young fan that really follows you?
Yeah. I don't know their name exactly, but I have a lot of fans that come up to me every night almost when I race. And I think that's so cool. Anytime I get a message on Instagram or whatever it could be saying good stuff about me or whatever, that their daughter looks up to me, I think that's so cool, and I think that's so great for maybe the future to get more people in the sport and obviously grow as a sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's never too many good role models that we can, have our kids or our grandkids watch. And so I appreciate especially girls like you that I can follow who speak well, they act well, and they drive well. So they're kind of the whole package. And that's a good representation of women in motorsports, which is what I focus on, and Brett's been helping me do that too. So, how do you think you're going to make an impact on the motorsports industry?
I don't know. I just try and keep doing good. Obviously, wins is what kind of matters. So like I said earlier, I have a really good team behind me, so I feel really confident going into this year, and I feel like we should have no problem. Hopefully, getting a few more as long as I do my job. So feeling confident, and I think just winning, like I said, could maybe make an impact on the sport. But overall, I'm just not sure. I just try and do my job and win when it matters.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Jade, for sure. So sometimes I ask just to get to know you a little bit better. I'm going to ask you some of your favorites. So these are just quick answers. You don't have to think about them very hard. Okay? Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What's your favorite food?
I'm a big white rice and chicken. It's so plain, but I love it.
And what's your favorite food before you race or at the racetrack?
Chicken strips. Can't go wrong with chicken strips.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite vacation destination, either that you've been to or that you want to go to?
So we usually go to Hawaii or try to go to Hawaii every year as a family, and I really enjoy that. I think it's obviously really fun and really pretty. But I think my dream vacation is probably the Bahamas or like Bora Bora. That looks really pretty.
Yeah, the water, the blue water, and the sun. You can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about your favorite candy?
Probably Sour Patch Kids. I don't really eat too much candy, but I think that
Okay.
would probably be my favorite.
Well, that's a good thing because it's not good for you, but you are a kid, so I figured you had some kind of favorite. So who have you got a favorite movie or actor or actress that you like to watch, or do you not watch movies?
I don't really watch movies. I just usually watch Netflix or YouTube. But my favorite show right now on Netflix is Selling Sunset. I like the realtor shows.
The realtor shows, yeah, I do too. Well, I watch HGTV too, but yeah, I like the realtor shows too. Those are pretty fun. And
Yeah,
what's your favorite thing to celebrate?
4th of July. I think that's a fun day.
Okay.
Pool,
And
the
it's
lake, whatever, and then obviously the nighttime is fun.
there's usually races going on, and so that's a great holiday because then we can go to the races and watch fireworks too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So Jade, I don't have any more questions for you, but is there anything that we haven't talked about that we've just totally missed that we should have talked about?
I think that's good. Unless you guys have any more questions.
One thing that you can do while you're on here is give a shout out one more time to your sponsors and anybody you want to thank.
Mobile One, Toyota Racing, CMT, Shishan, K1 Race Gear, Rye Helmets, and everyone else. Maybe they might not have a company, but single people that obviously help out a lot, and obviously none of this could be possible without any one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a team, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Brett and I are big about women in motorsports, and what I always say is, "Hey, I like the guys, but I want to support and celebrate the women. So I'm not against the men. I just think the girls need a little bit more shout outs and things than what they've had in the past. So that's kind of where we started. But when we interview people, and then hopefully Brett and I'll both, well, he's met you, and hopefully I'll be able to watch you race, come and watch you race somewhere this summer. We always have something that we say to our guests. So before we do that, Bad Addison. So Jade, she's one of our favorites. She's just a young gal. If you want to have a good laugh and enjoy a young gal that races, follow Bad Addison Racing. And she
For
says,
sure.
Thanks, Jade, for paving the way for the younger girl racers coming up."
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah, make sure you follow Bad Addison. You won't regret it because she is the most spunky. I think she's like 9 or somewhere in there.
Yeah.
She's the most spunky young lady in the racing world. You'll love it. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, you will. So Brett,
Okay.
we're going to close out the show, and Brett always has something that he shares at the end. So go ahead.
So Jade, like Melinda said, we push for women in motorsports. I do it especially because my daughter races, and I just want to see more women in the racing world. So I push for this a lot. But once we get somebody on the show, you basically become part of our family, like the Women's Motorsport Network and all of our followers. So we just want to say welcome to our family, and it'll be a good ride to watch. We're going to be on your journey with you from here on out. So be pretty awesome.
Thank you guys for having me on too.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
If you ever want to be on, you've got an announcement to make, or if there's ever anything Brett or I can do for you, we're always here and we're in your corner. So make sure you reach out to us.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you, Jade.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jade.
No
Yep.
problem.
See ya.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad we finally had her on, Brett.
I knew she'd be good to get on here. It was just the timing just had to work out.
I know, and I watch her, I follow her, and every time I do, and I reach out to her and say, "Jade, we need to get you on the podcast. And then she'll be like, I'm traveling, I'm doing this. And I was like, I know you are. I know you're busy. So I'm really glad that we were able to have her on tonight. And, you know, like I said to her, she speaks well, she's friendly, she's always smiling, you know, except I did see the Facebook post where you had a little trouble over the weekend, Jade. But, you know, that's okay. Keep smiling because, you know, every day's not going to be perfect. Every day's not going to be a win. It's the one, motorsports is the one sport that you lose more than you win. And not that that's negative, but it's just the fact. And so, do your best every time, and then you can always be proud of yourself. And we're proud to say that we know you, and now that you're a part of our family. So thank you for being on with us, and we'll be watching. And I'm gonna find one of your races that's close and put that on my calendar. My calendar is getting very full, so I'm just keep erasing something and then putting a new one in. So there you go. So Brett, what have you been up to now? Let's catch up with you for a minute. We got about 13 minutes.
Yeah, I've well, for work I travel a lot. So that's why we switched to Sundays to give it a try. Very fortunate for where I work. It brings a lot of opportunities for the Women's Motorsport Network and Adriana Timmerman Racing. So the last couple months we've been in Oklahoma in February and March, and would have never been able to do that. But my boss, his kid races, and he has his own plane, and he said he don't want to drive, but if I'll take the 12-hour drive, he'll let me use his truck and trailer, and that'll be part of the sponsorship deal. So I drove 12 hours, 24 hours basically round trip, two different times. So we got a race there, which Oklahoma didn't treat us good. That's 3 times we've been to Oklahoma, and 3 times that we have not made the A main. So we're still going to try to go back and for the Freedom Nationals in July. She's in a bigger class now, which will be really tough. But Kirk Berkeley puts on a good show in Oklahoma. And then recently we went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
To Millbridge Speedway, which is in the go-kart world. That is the Daytona 500 racetrack. And how that all came about is we had a job in North Carolina for work, and my boss flew us out in his plane, and I happened to ask a couple people if Adriana could run their kart while we were there, and one of them finally gave in. And she a day before we left, we found out that she was going to be able to race. So she ended up never seeing the track before, never being in this kart, which I'm going to give a shout out to Cohen McDaniel Racing. It was his kart. He wins. He is the top dog at Millbridge. And when he comes to Iowa and Wisconsin, he has not left without a trophy. So he's top dog, and he let us race his kart. Adriana jumped in it and ended up falling back to like 7th in the feature, and then battling her way back up to 2nd. So that was very successful.
Yeah.
And as soon as we flew back from Millbridge and slept Thursday night, and then Friday morning we got up and drove 6 hours to DeCoin, same place Jade got her win. And Adriana, this was her first time in the open class, which is a big motor compared to what she was running. And she was battling with 2 pretty fast guys most of the night. The first night she got 3rd, and then actually she pulled 3rd both nights. So that was pretty good accomplishment for being her first big motor race.
Yeah.
So now we're getting Drake's kart ready and her kart's on the stand, getting ready for the next race, which is I believe like the 3rd week in April. So that we're on downtime until then.
Yeah.
But it's been
pretty exciting.
It's been exciting and busy. Like traveling is a lot of fun, and we couldn't do it without my boss, Pivot AM Service, 3D printing, repairs is what I do. And I also wanted for Cohen McDaniel Racing, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of his sponsors. So one of them is SKE Chassis. He builds all of Cohen's karts. Cohen now races a micro, but and then Adams Performance Engines, and especially Cohen McDaniel Racing. Give him a follow. You won't regret it. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then his mom owns Checkered Star Boutiques. It's a t-shirt, like a t-shirt company for women, basically for racing. So go ahead and give them a like and a follow on Facebook too. It's Checkered Star Boutiques.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going to check that out. And did you see Bad Addison said, Brett, hopping jets like a boss for racing.
It was we definitely felt like professionals being able to fly out, and just show up to race, and it was pretty awesome feeling for me and Adriana.
Yeah.
Erin didn't get to go, which really sucks, but it was on TV, so
yeah.
She still got to watch it. But she has a fear of flying, so maybe we'll get her over that fear so she can fly out with us next time.
Yeah, for sure. I love to fly, so I wish I lived closer. I would have gone with you. So, well, we've had a great winter. Spring is here. I know the weather doesn't feel like it. It snowed here in Michigan yesterday, and then it rained after it snowed, and then it snowed some more, but there's nothing on the ground, thank goodness. So I'm hoping that spring is really here and that, Kalamazoo is going to get started. My granddaughter is going to be racing about 30 races this year. She is going to be at Kalamazoo quite a bit. She's going to Plymouth, Indiana, and some other places. So we're going to have a busy summer following her, and hopefully I can get to some other tracks. And so I'm excited about that. I'm ready for some warm weather. I'm over the Michigan winters, and I'm ready to go watch Jade race and some of the other gals that I've gotten to know this winter. So, Brett, I don't really have anything else going on. We'll be here next Sunday night, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, Women's Motorsports Network Facebook page. And we may have some content that we're going to drop in between now and then. So just follow our Facebook page, and we'll see what I can come up with during the week to keep you interested in the Women's Motorsports Network. But do you have anything else you want to share, or shall we hang up?
No, I think we're good. The weather's been crazy yesterday, or what was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we woke up with about 3.5 inches of snow on the ground, and then by afternoon we were raking leaves. So
oh yeah,
it's crazy weather, and it's happening all over. It's just we're actually going through a normal spring, and we went through a normal fall, and so things seem weird to everybody, but this is what it was like when I was a kid. So
yeah. So
we didn't get to start racing until May most of the time.
That, I think Kalamazoo's going to have their test and tune or whatever they do, some of that mid to end of April. But honestly, it's never warm enough here in Michigan to really be racing at that time of year. We go from bundling up in blankets to, the hot, humid weather. So looking forward to that. But I haven't got a guest for next week, but I'll work on that, and then we'll post something and let you know who we're going to have on. And so again, I want to thank Jade Avedisian for being our guest tonight. Loved being able to talk to her. I love following her. She's an amazing young gal. She's only 16 years old, and she's moved across the country, to pursue her love of racing. And so that takes a lot of guts and stuff at that age, to know that your passion is so strong for racing or whatever it might be, that you want to do that. And so I'm give her a lot of high fives, because that's pretty brave,
especially to leave your dad and sister in your home in California. Like, for a mom and daughter to move away like that, that takes a lot of guts. And but like we talked about, that's, if you want to go somewhere in the race world, North Carolina, especially Cup, North Carolina is the place to be.
Well, I can't wait to walk down pit road one day and get my picture taken with her standing next to her Cup car. So I'm going to put that on my goal, my bucket list. That's one of the things I want to see happen for sure. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go have some dinner. I think my husband made dinner. I can smell it. So, I'm gonna go have some dinner and see who won the cup race. It was in overtime when I turned my TV off. So, I'm gonna go check that out. You guys all have a great week. Brett, I love having you back with us. I've really missed you being on here. So, I'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I actually got to talk this time.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. I'll let you talk more next time. All right. All right, everybody. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Sunday. Good night.
See you guys.